Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Bandai SH Figuarts Star Wars Revenge of the Sith Anakin Skywalker. Now we've already got the episode 2 version. It's pretty cool, but when it comes to Anakin without the helmet, episode 3 is where it's at. He's kind of a badass. Don't get me wrong, he's still a whiny shit. You want to slap him sometimes for his awkwardness. But if you had a choice between 1, 2, or 3, 3, speaking for myself, is where I fall when it comes to Anakin. Looking at the package, it's your standard Figuarts packaging. It's all compact, everything's smashed in there. In fact, the shipping box I got could have fit 8 of these. Ami sending me a lot of air. You can see everything in the window. It has the silver motif of the prequels. On the side, you have a pretty promotional shot of Anakin. On the back, more promotional shots, what it comes with, the lava planet picture. Down here's the warnings, the unreadables. Probably says something like, don't try to reason with this figure, just let him do what he wants and walk away. On the side, more silver and Star Wars logo. On the top, same thing. On the bottom, more unreadables, legalese, you're winning lottery numbers, but I'm gonna get this out of the package and see what's going on here. I'm gonna like it, I think. Instructions look pretty straightforward. Hands, switch out the faces onto the back of the head. You put the lightsaber hilt without the blade on the belt, and then there's no removable parts. Looks like, anyway, on the hilt to put it in his hand. And there we go, all out of the package, and while very, very cool, it looks amazing. I have a nit or two. I usually do, but that's cool. Looking at the sculpt of the body, it is absolutely amazing. I mean, look at the texture on the arms. It's got kind of a corduroy look to it. For those of you who remember corduroy, just lines sculpted all into this brown undershirt, all the way down to the hip. We have the wrinkles on the legs looking all nice right here, down to the boots. I believe these are reuse, but I'm gonna compare here in 2 seconds. The brown of the tunic works really well against the black of the outer, whatever this part is. And then the paints, you have some gold and silver punched in right here, some silver up on the sleeve. The pouches on the back are kind of a reddish brown. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but it looks nice. It's a nice contrast against the back there. And then up at the head, I don't know if this is the first one we're seeing like this, but I also noticed it in the pictures of Obi-Wan, the episode 3 Obi-Wan that got solicited last night. It's just a tiny bit cartoonish for whatever reason. The eyes are a little bit exaggerated. I mean, it's an angry look, and it looks like Anakin, and I especially love the wavy hair. But I don't know. But I will say the face printing tech, it's a little bit cleaner than what I'm used to. I don't know what it looks like here on the HD camera yet until I get to the edit room. But in person, looking at it with my aging normal eyes, it looks really, really nice. Not really any shading to the hair. It's just kind of that tan color. You can see the seam line where the face is interchangeable to give you those different looks. But there also looks like a seam line across here. And at first I thought, oh, this is a hinge for the longer hair. But it's just actually 2 separate pieces that don't really move. And then I want to get this out of the way before we go any further. The initial pictures, we thought, oh, why'd they make them shorter than the episode 2 Anakin? And then we saw other pictures that made him the same size. So kind of relief, but getting it in hand now, the episode 3 Anakin is shorter than the episode 2 Anakin. Like I said, I think the boots are reuse from the episode 2 Anakin. You can see from the knee down, even on this pant sculpt right here, it matches between the 2 figures. But the wrinkles are different when you get above the knee. And I think that's where he's losing the height. You can see the belt is lower, you can see the shoulders are lower, and you can see the top of the head is a little bit lower. But thankfully, he has the pull down hips. So if you want to give him a little tug below the waist, that came out odd, you can get him up to the same height as the other Anakin. And because of the reuse, the knees are in the same place, it doesn't look odd. You and I know that there's some extension right here, but as far as anybody else is concerned, who's not looking under that tunic, they think it's pretty much the same figure. But there's also the difference in the face printing tech. You can see the new Anakin right over here, he has a better skin tone. It's more natural and it's way less shiny. That's on top of the printing tech being a little bit better now too. Going over articulation, there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck. It's really long, so you get a good range of movement there. And there's also a ball joint at the bottom of the neck, so almost buries his chin. Looks up, not bad for having the long hair in the back. Not quite as much tilt as I'd like to have. Again, the hair coming around to the sides is getting in the way, but not bad. There's a ball going into the torso, coming out. Well, there you go. There's a ball that goes into the torso, coming out to a hinge and swivel at the shoulder. And I didn't even realize there was a butterfly joint right there until I pulled that out. It's almost hindered by this black part right here. It's a little bit better on the left side. I can get it to swing. Well, there you go. It does come out, but it doesn't do much more than the ball joint already does. You can get a little up, You can get a little down, forward, back. Goes up to about right there. Swivels around. You get too crazy with it though. That ball joint isn't loose, but I keep popping it because of this tunic right here. If you try to come up straight, it comes out. Then you get rotation on the shoulder. Single elbow, but comes up way past 90. Swivel hinge swivel at the wrist, but there's a lot of sculpt in there, so you can't get a lot of movement. Ball joint at the waist, hidden behind the belt. Let's see if we can pop this. There we go. Ooh, the ball joint is on a hinge that goes forward, giving him more crunch. So it can go forward, can go back, nice tilt, swivel. Talked about the hips, there is a drop down right there, so you can get all the way forward, back, out all the way. Swivel up at the hip, be kind of careful with the lower tunic. I say careful, it's just putting it back under where it needs to go right there. Same thing in the back, you get crazy, it's gonna come out and over. Single knee comes up a little past 90, not great, but it works. Yeah. Ball joint at the ankle goes back, goes forward, goes tilt for rocker, and then a toe joint goes most of the way up. For accessories, Anakin has 2 fists, he has 2 splayed out hands, and he has 2 lightsaber grip hands. This one, traditional grip. This one, trigger finger. I have to play with this for a minute. And to switch those out, it just pops off. It's not a problem whatsoever. The other one pops right on. There we go. He comes with 2 lightsaber hilts. Nice paint to him. You can see the gold right here, gold right here. The black lines, it just looks like a really nice hilt. And there's also an alternate one without the blade, but it's got a peg right here to plug into his belt. Just like that. And it hangs nicely. It looks great. But for the lit lightsaber, because of this box on the side of it, you can put it right in the trigger finger and you can wedge it around and get it worked down in there. But if you want to, you can just leave it just like that, like he's activating it. Also, while switching around the hands, we have the same problem that we have with, ooh, I even dented it right there. That's crazy. If you overextend the elbow and turn it, you get jammed right there. Thankfully, it's kind of rubbery right here. Not gonna do any permanent damage if you do get it jammed like that. Also, the sleeve hanging down, it makes the hand just barely more difficult to change out because you're reaching down into the cave. But there's worse things in life, I guarantee you. I'm just happy I don't have to figure out which one's left and which one's right by looking at the thumbs and fingers. I can just go, yep, left, right. Is that right, left? Yeah. Now we talked about the face. It's a little bit exaggerated, but this is his angry face. This is the one that came on it in the package. You can pull that. Oh, well, that's easier like that. You can get your thumbs in there then. You can pull the face apart. It's just some pegs in the back, peg holes in the front. I don't know why these are clear right here and this is a dark brown. Who knows? But there's also an alternate screaming face, which, same thing I said about Obi-Wan in last week's weekly. I dig that they came in and did the teeth and there's some depth here. It goes into the head. It's not just painted pink or red or whatever color they usually paint the inside. It's actually sculpted that way. And if you look at the back of the head, you can see that it's an insert to kind of make that effect. But like I said about the first one, exaggerated, this is the same amount of exaggeration. The eyes just look, Rah! And when it comes to the mouth, it's just like wonka, 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 wonka. I get it, I appreciate it, but man, let's get to the next head. This one is my favorite, and that's the Sith eyes. There's just something about it. It feels more natural for Anakin, and it looks more natural. He's calm, he's at peace, but there's some evil all brewing up behind those eyes. As I'm looking at it in person without the camera, it's kind of hard to tell how much detail there is in there, but there's the yellow and then the red coming around and the black in the middle. It's a lot of great detail in there. This will be how mine will look on the shelf, but we'll get to that. Here he is with the episode 2 Anakin again and the version 2.0 SH Figuarts Darth Vader. If you don't want to pay the insane prices for the Black Series Anakin, here's what he'd look like kind of fudged into your Black Series collection. I never realized how big this damn thing is. To give you an idea what he's going to look like with the episode 3 Obi-Wan, here he is with the episode 2 Obi-Wan, which I figure it's going to share a lot of the same parts. And that's without Anakin being extended at the hips. If you take the legs and drop them down a little bit, that looks more accurate to what we see on screen. And then as always, here he is with Gus. You look awfully damn familiar. Do I know you? I don't think so. Move along, friend. I swear I know you from somewhere. I used to work on this lava planet. Too hot for me. Had to transfer to the snow division. I said we don't know each other. I don't know. I got a pretty good memory. Not when it comes to dates or names or places, but it kind of faces. I said no! Well, damn, that's all you had to say. So at the end of the day, another fantastic addition to the Star Wars shelf. I'm not even going to call it specifically SH Figuarts. It mixes in with my display that pulls from all companies. I definitely like this more than the Star Wars Black Series. Like I said, I forgot how tall that thing is, and it's during that time when they weren't doing a lot of face paint. It was blood, yucky skin, yeah, I said yucky. Yucky skin tones. Kind of hard to maneuver, articulate, get into poses. This passes it by a mile. It looks great in action poses. Of course, it's Figuarts. It's natural to get into poses. But I don't know, I'm sitting here looking at it, and with the Sith eyes and just that calm look to it, I almost think that's scarier than being angry and yelling and showing off your lightsaber skills or your flying skills or what you can do with the Force. Him just standing in there with the Sith eyes, holding a lightsaber, not telling you what he's gonna do, I find that frightening. So this is how he'll probably be on my shelf, even though, why don't you collect statues? Because I like action figures, and I like it blending in with all the rest of my action figures who do get into action poses and such. And then when I'm tired of this pose, I'll put it in a different pose. You can't do that with a statue. I don't know why they shrunk them down. Maybe they didn't have the old one on hand, but it's all in the thigh. I am 100% sure of that. But it's an easy enough fix. It doesn't bring down the figure at all. Bring down, just short. Pull the legs, make them taller. He fits in great. Nobody will know the difference. Completely happy with this, and I'm happy that the Episode 3 Obi-Wan's coming, and they've already shown pictures of Dooku. He should be solicited within the next month or so. Then we need a Grievous, and we need more clone commanders, and we need an Emperor or a Palpatine, or whichever version they want to give us of that, and then Yoda. Come on, Bandai, kick it into high gear, get some figures out. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.